Hey guys, Sean here, and you're in for a very, very special episode of Any Given Run Day podcast. Special for two reasons. One, after this intro, you're not going to hear my voice, and that's always special. But two, Eric's going to be interviewing Odhran Murphy, and he's going to be talking about why he's running a marathon in the estate this weekend for Childline. And, well, I'm just going to let the lads take it over from here, and it's a hell of an interview. Enjoy.
Afternoon everyone, and you're very welcome to a very special episode of Any Given Run Day. You're probably a bit confused that it's not Sean's voice you're hearing introducing this topic, but the reason I'm here for this special Thursday edition episode is to introduce a very special person to me who is a bit of an inspiration. I probably watched growing up and watching in air shows, travelling, flying for the Irish Air Corps, and eventually got lucky enough to meet him and fly with him. More importantly though, sticking with the themes and the topics of Any Given Run Day, I'm joined with Odhran Murphy. Hi, Odhran.
Hello, Eric. How are you? I'm glad you didn't say I was an inspiration to you in terms of running. Anyway, that's a good start.
No, that's where I had to draw the line. But
yeah. Fair enough.
You are. Well, the last time we met, we were probably upside down at 300 miles an hour over Monasterevin, and I think you were laughing at me because you could hold the aircraft in a better state than I could the right way up, and you seen me very much at my worst in the early days of flying, but I'm about to see you at your worst this Sunday. Or what are you up to?
I don't doubt it for a second. I've tried that a couple of times since I left the Air Corps, flying upside down at 300 miles an hour. The passengers really don't like it.
But you're also all them blood rush going to the head now. This Sunday you've taken on a bit of a mammoth of a challenge for yourself. What are you up to?
Yeah, I think it's probably the worst harebrained idea I've ever had. So yeah, I've decided I was out for a run about I'm not even exaggerating here, just over 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago. I was out for a run in the estate because, I'd be stick to the rules kind of a guy. So I said I'd stay within the 2 kilometres, and I was doing laps of the green, using the watch and that sort of stuff. And I was looking at it, and it was 0.21 or 0.205 or something of a mile was a lap, And so I think I was doing a 10 miler. And I decided, I wonder how many of these laps it'd be to do a full marathon, So I was kind of, and I do stupid things that I suppose most runners probably do when you're looking at pace on your watch and that sort of thing. You're kind of thinking like, right, if I do 10 miles at that pace, how long is it going to take me or whatever? So I kind of decided, right, it'd be 129 laps at a green to do a marathon. And I was kind of toying it over in the head, and I said, no, I couldn't do it. Like I'd have about 10 mile fitness is, where I'd be at, kind of 10 mile half marathon max would be the fitness level I'd be at. And I was kind of mulling it over in the head going, could I? And so I decided, right, I'll tell you what, if I can do a half marathon today, I'll do a marathon here at Green. So I'd gone out, I told the wife, I have 2 young kids at home, right? So my wife was a saint because the toddler who's 2.5 had gone for a nap. And usually like that means you've got a window of about an hour and a half, give or take. So I told herself, right, I'm going out for a run, I'll be gone for about an hour, I'll be back, shower in and all that sort of stuff, and I'll be ready to go by the time the little one wakes up. And I kind of texted her halfway through and I said, listen, I might stay out for a bit longer. And I left it as vague as that, So, so I stayed out. I did the half marathon. And then when I came home, she was like, why did you stay out? Why were you gone for long? Listen, I had this idea. And obviously she laughed at me. And I said, no, I think you could do it. I think you could do a marathon by running laps of the green. And she said, you're mad. And I said, I think I might do it. I jumped into the shower anyway. By the time I got out of the shower, I said, no, I'm doing it. I'm definitely doing it. I'm telling you I'm doing it. So I set up a GoFundMe page because I wanted to raise a bit of money for Childline, which would be kind of my go-to charity of choice. Anyway, and I said, right, I'm going to do this. Set up a GoFundMe page and put a target up of €1,000. And she was laughing at me. She said, people are not going to give you €1,000 to go out and run laps to the green, And I said, well, they're not giving it to me now. They're giving it to Childline, And that was lunchtime, and we were going to bed that night, and I think it was 1,400 or 1,500 euros on the fucking on the GoFundMe page. So then it was
unbelievable. We were watching it, and it was like I seen you put it up. It was like €1,000, and then the next day it was like we're rejigging it. We're going for 2,000.
Yeah.
And this is only 2 weeks ago.
I know, that was literally right. So that was Sunday. It was. Sorry, it wasn't. It was Friday, right? So it was Friday. I'm doing the marathon this Sunday, so it was just over 3 weeks ago. It was 23 days before doing it. So yeah. So then I said, right, look, I was still 2 of us lying in bed that night, and I said, well, I suppose now I might raise actually a bit of a decent sum of money here. Like, and I said, but the worst thing is now I have to do that bloody marathon. So yeah, it was a bit of a kind of, the way you say something and then you really wish you hadn't said it, and now you're kind of stuck to it.
But as you said, you were a 10-mile man at best because you hadn't really been training, and you got this notion because of boredom of COVID, and we're seeing everyone out running. But you have covered a marathon before, am I right in saying you have?
I have done, yeah. I've done a few marathons. Now, I haven't done one. I think the last one I did was 3 years ago. I qualified for in the Dublin Marathon this year. If it goes ahead, they were doing this kind of lottery thing. But if you had done it in the last 3 years, they were going to give it to you for free. I didn't think I qualified, but I did. So I must have done it 3 years ago. And so I did it. I've done Dublin a couple of times. This will be my 8th. Obviously, this won't be an official one. Like, this is just me running it in my backyard. But this will be the 8th. Yeah. So I've done Dublin. I've done Dublin 4 times, and I've done Limerick, which absolutely killed me, Waterford, and then I went to Eindhoven with a group of guys that we would have worked with together in Baldonnel. Went off to Eindhoven to do one. Some of the guys were targeting a sub 3 hour marathon, so Eindhoven was supposed to be flat and all that sort of stuff, so we went off there. So yeah, so I've done 7 before, but this will be my first now in about 3 years.
So
I won't blame the kids, like, because you're not supposed to do that. But let's just say my first daughter arrived 2.5 years ago, and I haven't done a marathon since.
It's definitely.
But she's great. She's great.
She's great. She'd be chasing you around on the green. And in terms of the kids, obviously you mentioned the kids and stuff at home. Are they going to come out and support you? Obviously you've done Dublin and you've done Eindhoven, and you understand. Obviously you're like myself. You start to do the maths of pace and distance because it tends to pass a kilometre or two. And
yeah.
A marathon is a long time. It is a long time at the wheel, and only your thoughts. Are the kids going to come out and give you support, or are they going to get bored themselves after a lap and leave you to it?
So we were discussing this. I reckon so there's a 2.5-year-old and a 10-week-old. So obviously the 10-week-old won't have a clue what's going on, right?
No.
But I reckon that the 2.5-year-old is going to come out for the start, which of course she will, but she's going to try run after me. And then she's going to get upset when I don't stop to go back for it. So we reckon she'll probably be there for about 2 laps, and then she'll go home because she'll be fed up with me running away from her. And so yeah, we were kind of discussing, right, what time of the day will I do it at? So we've decided, like everything in my bloody life, if we talk about training now in a few minutes, you'll see how bad it is. But like everything, we'll base it around Kate, the toddler. So she goes for her nap at about midday. So I'm going to start at about 11. She can go to bed for most of it, and then by the time she wakes up, she's nearly finished. So.
She'll be over the trauma of you leaving.
She stopped crying by nap time.
And you said you've only started really training. You went out just for a bit of a run. Obviously, we're all a bit quieter with work and stuff. You went out for a run just to see where the legs were, and you're going for it. How was the body the next morning when you woke up after a half marathon?
The day after the half marathon, I wasn't going at any lightning pace. I think it was about 1:45 or something. But I woke up the next day and I was sore, and I went, oh my God, what am I after doing? So I'd have, like, as I said, about 10 miles would have been, I won't say my limit, but like that would have been kind of, if you'd asked me to do a 10-mile race in 3 weeks' time, I'd have been grand for it, Like 10k would have been comfy, like that would that would have been where I'd been at, say since maybe December or so. I'd have been running 5Ks and 10Ks and that sort of stuff. And again, like not at any lightning pace. It's never really a fast runner, like, But yeah, so I went out that day and I kind of decided I was going to do 8 or 10 miles. That was what I had decided. But then, as I said, I decided after about 5 miles, I had made the decision to try and turn it into a half marathon as a test. And then, of course, you know yourself, your brain works the same way mine does. I know it does. So by the time I got to about 11, I decided I could definitely do this. Like, and I was half considering just keeping going, sending Deirdre another text saying, "Listen, I'll be out for another 2 hours." Doing it there and then.
I'm halfway there. I might as well.
Go. There's as long to turn back now as it is to keep going.
Well, as you've probably heard, I know you're following us on Instagram on Any Given Run Day. We were doing the build-up for Madrid, and you've probably heard of us talking about the different techniques. We've Aaron, who's never done a run in I don't know how long. I don't know who's joining us here now.
No, I don't know who it is either. They're welcome anyway, whoever they are.
How are you, Etna?
Do you know her?
What you can do? I mean, that's.
I don't know. So Etna's gone anyway. We just had someone join our Zoom conversation now. We should have asked her for a donation before she left.
Do you reckon she was interested in running or airplanes?
I don't know. She didn't. In fairness, she didn't look like she was heading out for a 10-miler.
No,
But,
no. To be fair, she didn't.
but you've probably heard this. Like Aaron was going for his first run. Connor was from a GAA background. I had done one before, and we'd all done a couple of different marathons. I suppose where I'm getting at is I actually have kind of Etna's after throwing me off. I forgot where it was going with you there.
She was the curveball. It's like back when you were a cadet again and we used to throw in an old emergency. That's
an old emergency. Yeah, to get that sweat going again. But I suppose what I'm saying is for you to go out, the mentality of, I know Aaron was daunted by the idea of running a marathon. I know people who are listening haven't ran a marathon before. They're going to be like, how can you decide on your green in the middle of nowhere to go and do a marathon? And I suppose given your experience having done one, and for myself, I can understand that thought process. I've gone this far, sure I might as well, I can do the rest. But what encouragement would you give to someone who is turning around now, seeing you doing a marathon, and they want to do something for charity and they want to get involved? How can you describe when you think back to when you started out in this running phase, for someone to get involved in something like this?
I suppose it's on exactly as you said there. Like to be honest with you, and I hope this doesn't sound arrogant, but running a marathon is not a big deal for me. If you get me,
not anymore.
No, not anymore. Exactly. There's a lot of people out there who running a 5K is a massive deal. And if people who are doing say couch to 5Ks or something and that's really admirable, because if they've never run before, that's a target that's achievable but far enough away from them that they have to work really hard to get there, and as you're saying, that's kind of what a marathon is for me. Or I know before I made the decision to do it, I knew it was an achievable target, if you get me. Now I'd be sore, don't get me wrong, I'm not laughing at the aspect of doing a marathon, but there's some people for who my wife, who gave birth 10 weeks ago, right, is doing a couch to 5K at the moment, and I mean that is, and what I'm saying to her is she's saying, Jesus, you're off doing a marathon and I've decided to do a couch to 5K, how do I compete with that? And what I'm saying to her is you don't have to compete with that, actually, and I really mean this, your 5K is more impressive than my marathon, and it really is. Yeah,
so true. Everyone has their marathon to run, and
that's exactly it. You see, we'd be big fans of Operation Transformation here in this house, and you see people in that who walk in 5K as their marathon, do you know what I mean? And and if that's what your goal is, your goal needs to be tailored towards you. Do you know what I mean? It needs to be something that you can reach. If some people turn around and said, doing a marathon is the goal, but they can't walk 5K. Well, that, it's not a realistic goal, and they're going to lose motivation. Pretty quickly. They'll be down in the dumps, and they'll give you. Then it'll be no surprise when they stop training 3 weeks in, because they realise that they're so far.
They've set the target too high.
They set a target too high, or I setting a target too low. If I decide I was going to do a 5K, sure, I mean that's not a target. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, so the target has to be sufficiently high, but not too high.
Not too high, high enough that you can actually achieve. But I'd understand that as well for people who get started. And even looking at you doing it, I was jealous. It wasn't a case of I was daunted. Whereas go back 3 years ago, I was 110 kilos. I'm now 85. 4 years ago, just before I joined. And I had to lose weight and stuff. But now I'm looking at you and I'm like, I'm jealous. So I was half thinking of going, now, well, if he's doing it, I'm doing a kind of attitude. And it's that point to try and get across to people that you have to start in that small kind of phase to get up to that marathon. But it is great to see so many people doing their 5Ks for charities, donating. A lot of people have been running 5 and donating for you as kind of solidarity and stuff, which kind of brings me on to my next question about the donation. So we've talked about all that we're going to do, but we're just going to talk a little bit about Childline now. Why is it you picked Childline as your charity for this? Obviously, it is a fantastic cause, but what does it mean to you?
I was reading an article. So obviously, there's no, what's going on in the world at the moment is it's a bit mad. I don't think we'll ever experience that like it again. As someone said, this is our World War II. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely,
this is our big global event of our generation. And one of the things I was reading about was charities and how charities are suffering hugely, and Childline was the case study that was being used. It was an article in the Irish Times about a month ago or so, and they were basically talking about how charities whose workload has gone up, their income, or for want of a better word, their fundraising has gone down because they can't get out on the streets themselves. And if you look at things, all of the things that have been cancelled, like the mini marathon and all these sort of things, those things are huge fundraising opportunities for charities like that. And then the thing that kind of knocked home to me was, it was a little line that I've been kind of repeating again and again over the last couple of weeks since I started trying to raise money for them, which is that, like, we've all been asked to stay at home, right? Now, I know you're in the military, so you're a little bit different. You're out there saving kids and all that sort of stuff, right? But
not all heroes wear capes.
Right? But
you weren't able for it anymore, so you left.
I wasn't. I was too old for it. I was just too old.
Yeah. Too many kids saved, yeah.
But the thing that really hit home with me was, and it's kind of a serious point, but it was that, like, we're all being asked to stay at home, right? And, like, for me, staying at home is not a big deal, right? Like, obviously there's financial implications. Like, I'm in civil aviation, which is obviously really hard hit, and, job security and all that sort of stuff is kind of going out the window. There's social implications, like we can't go for a pint or go meet our mates or go see our parents and stuff, right? But, like, at the end of the day, I'm in a big warm house with a fire if I want it. I've got Netflix, I've got Wi-Fi. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm pretty damn comfortable at home, like, right? And there's so many kids and teenagers out there who are at home, and, like, when they heard the Taoiseach saying you got to stay at home, which of course was absolutely the right decision for him to make it, for us all as a country, right? Without getting political about it, but there were so many kids and teenagers who were petrified at that decision because they now have to stay in a place that's not theirs. Like, they were safe going out the front door in the morning, getting away from home. Like, do you know what I mean? And then come 3 o'clock when they're in school or whatever it is, they were starting to shake and get terrified again at the thoughts of going home. Like, so it was just a real kind of a contrast in, realizing what some people out there are going through. Like, do you know what I mean? And then that the outlet that they have, which are charities like Childline, which of course not the only charity, but charities like Childline were their outlet, and now suddenly they're not able to do their job the way they like to, or as well as they can, as well as they'd like to be able to do it. And so it was just kind of that article really hit home with me. I've done a few little things for Childline before. Like, one of the marathons I ran was a block marathon in Baldonnel. So a group of us from the Air Corps ran a marathon. I can't remember what year it was.
Oh, I think it's on the wall. It's 11 or 10, 12 maybe.
It's on the wall in the bar there. You spent a heap of time in there. Surely you know what year it is.
You signed your initials on it as well as legendary. I don't know. It's ego talking, but
that'll be worth a fortune in a few years' time.
Absolutely.
So that was a charity. We ran it, and I think I can't remember the value, but I think, like, everyone that was involved, and I had to raise maybe 500 quid or something like that. I think Childline was one of the charities there for that, and it's always just kind of one of those charities that I've always valued. Like, do you know what I mean? It's a really kind of it's a resource that I never used, and like, my kids are safe in this house and all that sort of stuff. But like, it's kind of one of those charities that for me really brings home that you never know what's going on in someone else's life or what's going on in someone else's home, so yeah, like, as I said to a couple of people I'm talking about, like, for me, I would find it very difficult to be sitting here, as I said, watching Netflix on my nice big comfy couch, not doing something to help while this is going on. Do you know what I mean? So, and, like, without sounding too cheesy, like, I spent 15 years in the military, and, like, the military's first reaction to something like this is, well, how can we help? Do you know what I mean? What can we do to help? Like, and I'm an airline pilot, so I can't do much to help professionally, but I can do this. So,
Absolutely, yeah. And it's a fantastic thing. And as well, like, the kids haven't even got, as you've said, they're not going to schools anymore. There's no teachers even to keep an eye on things. So that would kind of help watch some of the things that may or may not be going on at home. And it is, like I said, the resources are probably being drained quite a lot. And it is a very admirable thing that you're doing, and we're only delighted to be supporting it as well. And you have set up your GoFundMe page. So we've talked that you started at a target of 1,000. We're now looking at 9.5 plus, and I'm holding out to try and be.
So I reckon if we talk here for long enough, you might miss the
I don't know. I'm half tempted to keep an eye on the GoFundMe page. So if we want to get involved and support you, Odhran, where do we go? How do we do it?
Yeah, so there's a GoFundMe page, right? So if you're not a GoFundMe user, right, which I suppose most people listening to this podcast probably are if they're involved in it, but if you go to GoFundMe and search Marathon in the Estate, I'll pop up as the first one. Or if you just go into Google and search Marathon in the Estate, then the GoFundMe link will bring you straight there. So yeah, like, I have to say, I can't believe how, like, as we said there, we started off, or I say we because my wife's obviously helped me with it, but we started off with €1,000 as the target before going to bed the first night. we were going through that. So it was doing that kind of, that cheeky thing where you kind of leave the target just above what you're at,
Just above, yeah.
little like Father Jack in the just to kind of egg people on. So, but I don't think we started at 1,000, went to 2,000, and then I think we went to 2,500. Now this is going, like, I'm telling you now, we're gonna make $5,000 or something. You're not gonna make $5,000. Like, obviously, not make is the wrong word. Raise $5,000, and yeah. So over the course of the last 2 weeks, just about 2 weeks or so, I've been kind of pushing it. It's up around the €10,000 mark. It's 997 or something it was before we started talking. Yeah, so it's amazing. Like, and I tell you what, it's amazing how generous people are, though. And what I think is brilliant when you see people who've donated a huge amount of money and then have left it anonymous. It's just really kind of it's people are really generous. Especially kind of at a time like this when the chips are down. Like, because there's a lot of people who don't have a lot of money to be given. Yeah, they're finding a $5 or a $10 to throw at it, and it's brilliant, And then the other thing I've been saying to people is, listen, because I've been sending that around to WhatsApp groups and all that sort of stuff, and what I've been saying to people is, look, even if you can't afford to donate, that's completely understandable. Even if you want to put it on to another WhatsApp group or something like that, you know what I mean? And there's so many names up there of people that I've never heard of before that have been donating a tenner to, do you know what I mean? So
yeah, well, I'm hoping now you'll get our regular listeners now, and we'll shoot through that 10,000 and make a massive difference, because it is a fantastic cause. It is an unbelievable thing you're doing with 3 weeks training. And I really hope that people like yourself keep doing great things like this, because it is a phenomenal thing, and the market is kind of flooded with people doing it, which is a great thing at the minute. It's not a bad thing, but the only disadvantage could be yours could be missed, and that's why we're getting involved with you. One, because I know you, but two, because I genuinely believe in you as well. It's a great cause that we're doing it for, and it is, as you've said, like, home isn't a safe place for everyone, and it is a massive thing. But moving on from that, you've had a bit of fame and fortune from your little venture. It hasn't been all hard charity work. Gym plus coffee, late show. You've done some studies into colourly runners, making you run faster. How have you been enjoying the Instagram kind of plugs?
To be honest, Eric, you're lucky that I had time for you today. I had lunch with Tuberty, right? And then
how is he?
He's great. He's doing. No, one of the things that I decided I was going to do, right? I'm not a big social media lad, you know what I mean, in general, right? But I decided you have to be like you said. There's a lot of people out there running 5Ks and doing different things, and there's people doing far more amazing things, by the way, than running a marathon in their estate. Like I heard you guys last week talking about is it Captain Tom Moore across in
absolutely, yeah.
Like, I mean, it's just amazing, and the amount of money he's raised is amazing, and the man himself is amazing, and I hope he gets knighted, because he bloody well should. But like, there's people doing far more amazing things. But what you have to do, I've found, in order to raise a big dollop of money, which is what I was trying to do, you have to do something a bit different. So I decided I was going to have a bit of crack. And listen, I have way too much time at home, like far too much time stuck in my sitting, right? But when I put up the first post, I decided I was going to start annoying people, right? So I put it up on GoFundMe, and I went through my Instagram, which is kind of the only social media I really use. And I kind of had a look at everyone that I follow. And I figured, you know what, if one of these people, like Paul McGrath, for instance, right? Like, if one of these people shares this, it reaches 20,000 people or something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I said I was going to be a ton of this. Like, now, what I wrote a nice kind of a draft message, right, saying, look, I understand that people are probably annoying you about this all the time and blah, blah, blah. But I'd really appreciate it if you had the time to, if you throw it up in your story or share it. And obviously, if you don't, there's no sweat or no grief at all, right? But I sent it on to Ryan Tuberty as well, right? And obviously, I mean, look, Ryan Tuberty must get that 15 times a day, but obviously he didn't reply back or whatever, right? Now, to be fair to him, right, I'll get this in early, right? Ryan Tuberty is currently in the process of raising a whole load of money for Childline, right? So, right, it isn't because he doesn't care about the kids.
No. But we're going to make it look that way, just to get.
We'll definitely make it look that way. We'll make it feel bad, right? We'll make it feel bad, right? So I sent him the message, and obviously he didn't write back. I sent it to Keith Walsh and 2FM, and Keith Walsh threw it up on his, in fairness to him. And I sent it to the guys at Gym Plus Coffee. And like, to be honest, obviously their stuff is deadly, right? And I was wearing a Gym Plus Coffee hoodie at the time, which I'm wearing at the moment, is that right?
Yeah.
And I said, I got to send it on to them, right, and see what the story is. And the lads are really sound. They're all back saying, look, we're really sorry, but we just don't do charity shout outs, because if we did, we'd be doing them every day, which is fair enough. Like, they're selling the product, right? So I decided I was going to just keep an eye on Gym Plus Coffee and Ryan Tuberty. So
and I can see you have the Gym Plus Coffee on for this one as well.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna work, right? But anyway, so I made my wife when I asked Deirdre to take the video of me, she just said, "You're such a sad ass." But I asked, so we did a little video kind of a thing of clips of Tubridy interviewing people, and then me kind of answering the questions. But obviously, my answers are all about my run. But I can't describe to you, right? I was lying awake in bed. As I said, we've got a little one, 10-week-old here. So, being awake in the middle of the night is a fairly regular occurrence. So I've got a little set of headphones that I put on, like, if I'm burping or whatever, like, so I can be listening to a podcast or whatever. But that night I was just watching Late Late Show after Late Late Show after Late Late Show, looking for Ryan Tubridy saying the right words. I can't describe to you how excited I was when I found the clip of Ryan Tubridy saying, "You're not still looking for sponsorship, are you?" I don't even know who he was talking to when he said it. I was like, "Yes, I found it." So I put together a few kind of Mickey Mouse videos of me talking to Ryan Tubridy, but then so I put it up on Instagram and it kind of shares across the Facebook. And I said, I'm on the late tonight, so don't forget to tune in, and then put up the videos, right? Like, assuming that people would realize I was taking the mick. You won't believe the amount of text messages I had saying, "That's brilliant, congratulations, what time are you on at, and good luck," and all this sort of stuff. I was like, do you know the people who read the headlines and don't actually read the article?
Read the article, yeah. I was so good though, but genuinely to watch your video, I was like, I can't believe he actually made it on the Late Late Show. But yeah, it was absolutely brilliant. But again, he is doing his fundraising for Childline as well. But like you said, you had to be different. You have time on your hands. Everyone is bored, and you're using although you're having a bit of fun, I'd say the missus at home is probably sick of you now recording videos.
Yeah, I mean, like, to be honest with you, I think she's when I go out for a big long run to get rid of me for an hour now.
She's wondering when's the next marathon you're going to run.
Yeah. Like, you could do one every week now. You could do one every weekend if you wanted.
So, but back onto, we're looking at race day now. We're coming up. Sunday is the big day. You're kicking off about 11 to accommodate nap times. But how are you looking after yourself during the run? Just to bring it back to that run. So people who are thinking about training in 3 weeks and cracking into a marathon, are you going to think much about hydration, nutrition? Are you going to have a little stand out there in the estate, someone selling you lemonade on every lap? Or
so just while you mentioned it there, one of the things that I threw up, one of the kind of things I fired up was a 3-week marathon training plan. I think it's very useful if people want to check. If people want to check it out, it's exactly how not to run a marathon in 3 weeks. Probably you would run one marathon over the course of 3 weeks if you follow it. So actually, right, it's funny you should say that, because a lot of people have been saying, "Jeez, you must be so bored, running around the green." And like, there's no dressing it up; it's boring as hell, right? It's the same green. Like, I passed the same house 130 odd times, right? But one of the things that's brilliant is. But one of the things that's really good is for that sort of support that you're talking about there, the likes of water and food. So I'm literally just going to set out a table, and like with bottles of water, bananas, a couple of gels. Although I was never really a big gels man, and Mars bar and some jellies. So like, I actually have, like, whereas you see guys and girls running marathons with belts, carrying all this sort of stuff and all that sort of, because like, obviously there's loads of gel stations and water stations when you go to do a marathon, but they mightn't be where you want them to be,
where you need them.
Yeah, where you need them, And now I don't really know where I need them, because I haven't done enough training. I haven't done enough training to figure that out, right?
But it's only 200 yards away.
Yeah, but they're never more than a lap away.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things about running a marathon in a way like this that's actually a really positive thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That, like, I can have, and like, I'm going to throw a wet towel, or all that sort of stuff, like, and a spare t-shirt if I wanted. It's looking like it's probably going to be raining, but like, all that sort of stuff. And like, that side of it is actually going to be relatively easy, like, do you know what I mean? So like, if Deirdre's out there, or a couple of neighbours are out, like, I'm going to see them every minute and a half. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you were allowed to run longer than 2 kilometers, I'd be off. I'd run 13.1, and then turn back again, and sure, you'd see nobody. Like, do you know what I mean? And so yeah, from that side of it, it's actually going to be relatively positive,
Brilliant. Yeah, no, it seems to be a great one. It's definitely something I never would have thought to do, and only being restricted. Like, we Baldonnel here. We've a good 8-kilometer loop, and even to run 5 laps of that now is mind numbing. So I can only imagine how your 120 odd laps to your estate are going to go. But equally, everyone's going to be watching you, so they'll know if you're going slow. They'll know if you're under pressure.
I know, because I was saying that to Deirdre. She said, sure, maybe I could call in, like, you know, if I was struggling after maybe 18 miles or so, sure, I could come in and sit down for an hour and then go back out.
Yeah.
No, because everyone's going to know, they're going to see it on your bloody watch. They know exactly what you did.
It's absolutely brilliant. And well, we are absolutely delighted you're doing it. We were jealous. Last weekend we were supposed to do the marathon in Madrid and we were training for it. So I'm jealous you're running a marathon this weekend. I know that sounds bizarre to some people. I am jealous, but we are really wishing you the very best of luck with it. We'll be plugging it all week, and people are going to get sick of us, but it is for a great cause. We're absolutely delighted to have you on for this special episode, and we really wish you well. Is there any final points you'd like to put out there for anyone who's going to be joining in or donating towards you on your GoFundMe page, which you'd search on Google, GoFundMe Marathon in the Estate, and they'll find you? Is there any kind of final messages you'd like to give them?
No, just really, to be honest, just to say massive thank you to everyone who has supported so far. And like, if you want to throw some money up there, that's really helpful. If you don't have the money to throw up, that's completely understandable. But if you want to tell a friend about it, that's every bit as helpful. That's really it, you know.
Brilliant, Odhran. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy training schedule. New babies, crying, the whole lot. We're really grateful to get you on. And we really hope we can see you across the finish line on Sunday. We'll all be looking forward to seeing the post on it, and we really wish you all the best. Thanks so much for all your time tonight.
That's brilliant. Listen, thanks for having me on, Eric. It's great to chat to you. Great to catch up.
Great to catch up. We might be able to run together soon. But that's all for us now on this special episode, and we look forward to hopefully some more special episodes in the future. Who knows? But that's all for us. You'll be able to download this on any of the usual sources, and then we'll look forward to kicking back off on our usual Monday slot next week. So for now, thanks very much and goodbye.